James Elder is the UNICEF spokesperson and he's currently in Gaza. James, welcome back. Good to see you. What have you seen since you arrived there?
Oh, Jamie, it's dire. I mean, to me, it's unsurprising how much worse it's got, but it's deeply unsettling. I mean, of course, every day gets worse. We're now at almost 250 days. The coping capacities, physically, of course, with these relentless bombardments, and psychologically for families to move time and again to have a loved one, a brother, a sister, a mother killed, and then to be, you know, dealing with this in a tent. This week, particularly bad, if you will. I was at Al-Aqsa Hospital, Jamie, on Tuesday. It is a war zone like few I've seen. Children with, you know, missing limbs and burns on the floor. So as long as we do not have a ceasefire, we are in this horror show. And at least the last 2 days here have been 24/7 attack drones, Apache helicopters and bombings. And what that does to the psychology of a person beyond physically the immense threat is something I don't think we've seen in a long, long time.
Is it possible to understand the psychological damage, let alone the physical damage this conflict has had on the children living through it?
Not really. We're in uncharted territory. Certainly for me coming back now again, it's the first time that, yes, there is hope. Yeah, no doubt. As women have said to me, James, I have lost my husband, I've had a child killed, I've lost my home, I've lost my ability to feed my child, as you said there on nutrition. All I have left is hope. But there are other people who have lost count of how many resolutions there have been, who are, I think, are well aware that the actions and decisions of those who have power over this ceasefire have no connection to the suffering of people here. Jamie, on this trip, I've had more than a handful of people, particularly young people, say to me, to words to this effect, they hope a missile hits their tent, they want this over. So no, we are in uncharted territory when it comes to the trauma of girls and boys.
How much longer do you think the aid agencies can continue, and how much longer can the population there endure this?
Yeah, that second question is one that I really have been trying to understand in my own mind. The aid agencies, we will continue. As much as the United Nations has had more colleagues killed in this war than any war since the advent of the UN, but this is what colleagues do. This is the frontline support. We must at the same time be able to deliver aid. I was on a mission on Wednesday with a UNICEF truck of life-saving nutritional supplies and medicines for children. It was about a 40-kilometre round-trip journey, Jamie. It took us 13 hours. We spent 8 hours at checkpoints. In the end, that truck was denied. So getting aid is in one thing, being able to deliver it is another. But in terms of the civilian population, I don't know. Child psychologists don't know. But we should fear the very worst. There is a community spirit here that rebuilds hospital. I went to NASA Hospital, Jamie. It's back up and running. There's volunteers. I've been outside dancing in the dirt with kids. It's immense. But bigger picture, for families and those people I've known and I speak to, I have long conversations, they are psychologically on a precipice.
It's easy to despair at the international bodies who one would have thought would resolve this by now. For those ordinary people listening to you and watching you, what can ordinary people around the world do, if anything, to try to help the situation?
I think the global outcry, the relentless calls for peace have been very important. I think they must continue. I don't think at any point does it make any logical, humane sense to think that the bombing of children and the killing of so many and the destruction of Gaza will bring peace to the Middle East. At the same time, that outrage, unfortunately, is being matched by an impunity here. But I do believe, I know, for example, Jamie, I know the people in Gaza are aware of that. I know it matters to them to know that even though those with decision-making power are ignoring their suffering, it matters to them that, you know, from wherever, from Beijing to Seoul from, you know, Sydney to London, these protests matter. And then, of course, there's aid agencies. UNRWA is the backbone. It needs funding. UNICEF, there is no magic pot of money. The nutritional supplies, the water, the medicines, that's about aid. So if people have that ability to fiscally support, that goes to the front lines of those people we're trying to reach.